Hi everybody, I'm Greg Fishel. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the bonus weather video number 4 for this week. And we're going to be going into a bit more detail on something we talked about in the daily weather update, and that is something called the ring of fire and how these big complexes of convection or thunderstorms form on the periphery of the ridge in the upper atmosphere, and you get a ring all the way around the periphery of the ridge, or almost all the way around it, with thunderstorms. And some of those storms could actually be rather strong. So let's go on ahead and take a look at the European model forecast for what we call the deep layer wind shear. And this goes all the way from 850 millibars, which is about 5,000 feet above sea level, to up to about 200 millibars, which is about 40,000 feet. Okay, so it's taking a look at how much the wind changes over a very, very deep layer. This is also a parameter we look at over the tropics with tropical systems, because shear is not a friend of tropical systems, either tropical storms or hurricanes, because the hurricane's trying to concentrate heat in a certain area, and if there's a lot of wind shear, it disrupts all of that, spreads the heat out, and the system has no chance of developing. So this is tonight, and right now there are some huge complexes, a couple of them, of thunderstorms, and the ridge is down in here, and then these are the areas shaded here in red and sort of a darkish brown and even a light tan, where the wind shear is the strongest. And basically the thunderstorms are forming underneath these strongest winds, a lot of times just on the southern side of those stronger winds, and then farther south where the wind shear is much, much weaker, it's just very, very hot and dry. Now, as we move on ahead to tomorrow night, the placement of those winds really doesn't change all that much. And I think probably the best chance of seeing significant rain in North Carolina later tonight and tomorrow is going to be in the mountains, with lesser chances as you head eastward. But there still may be, a few in our area, just maybe not quite as plentiful as they will be out west. Now, as we head towards Saturday night, we start to see a change here where the ring of fire, or this wind shear maximum, is now beginning to shift off to the north and east, and we're starting to get underneath the core of the ridge here where there isn't much wind shear at all. And by the way, the reason that wind shear is important with thunderstorms becoming strong is that if you have, let's see if I can show this with my hands, if you have like a light wind this way, and up top you have the same direction, okay, but it's blowing stronger. So if you were to imagine a telephone pole suspended in the air, it's going to start to rotate like this because of the fact that at the top of the pole, the winds are blowing stronger than they are at the bottom. But if you think about it, we don't see, like for instance with tornadoes, we don't see them rotating like this. They rotate like this. So how does that get to that point? Well, an updraft comes along with a thunderstorm and it tilts that axis of rotation into the vertical, okay? And now you've got rotation like this. Now, even if you don't get a tornado, if you have a rotating updraft, that tends to be a very, very strong updraft, and pressures fall in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, and that increases the strength of the updraft, and everything goes from there. So basically that wind shear is very, very important, but that's moving away from us by Saturday night, and by the time we get to Sunday night, it's way, way to the north, and again, the ridge is really dominating our weather at that point in time. Now, by the time we get to Monday, we're not really dealing so much with the ring of fire anymore, but now we're starting to get into an area of stronger wind shear because we've got a trough in the upper atmosphere that's beginning to shift eastward out of the plains. So later Monday and on into Tuesday, July 4th, the wind shear increases because of the approach of that trough. And even by the time we get to Wednesday, you can still see that axis of strongest wind shear right in there. And then it does back off a little bit by Thursday. So we're going to have wind shear from the ring of fire for the next couple of days, and then we'll get a break for a couple of days, and then we'll start to get into wind shear again, but this time because of the approach of another trough in the upper atmosphere. But when the wind shear is a long ways away from us, which I think it will be on Sunday and Monday, those are the days that we're likely to see the least activity, the most sunshine, and the most heat. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. That's what's behind the ring of fire. Right underneath the ridge of high pressure, sinking air, hot, dry, blazing sunshine. But then as you start to transition into that stronger area of wind shear, then basically the lid comes off and the thunderstorms are free to develop, and some of those can grow into some pretty big complexes. All right, there are the credits. That is bonus weather video number 4. Number 4. That's Thursday. It's the 4th day of the weekday. And that's it for now. So we'll talk to you again this time tomorrow, and we'll have perhaps a more detailed look at the holiday weekend weather, and maybe give you a better idea as to which days are likely to be the most active. So have a great Thursday evening, everybody, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. See you later.